Okay, I just want to take a couple minutes to showcase what is to me a true American classic, and that is the Daisy Model 95 BB gun. And this is the first BB gun, or first, if you want to call it a firearm, first firearm that I actually ever owned. It was a Christmas gift that I got back in, let's just call it the mid 70s. It was either 74 or 75. I can't quite remember. It's been that long. And I've gotten quite a bit of use out of this guy. It still operates. It works perfectly fine. And it also happens to have the distinction of being the only projectile firing, call it weapon, that I've ever used to actually kill anything. As I said, I'm not really a hunter. I've never hunted. And this also taught me a very valuable lesson in don't shoot at anything that you really do not intend to kill. The first thing that I shot was actually a pretty red cardinal. Now, I really didn't expect to hit it, which is why I say I learned a very valuable lesson at that point in time. So I took aim at the cardinal, squeezed the trigger, down it went. Of course, I was a little distraught at the fact that I had actually killed something. As I said, I've never really had the inclination to hunt or anything like that. So that was somewhat of a traumatic experience. However, that never stopped me from firing my BB gun again and again and again. And the other thing that I killed with it was actually, I would say, somewhat of a humanitarian gesture. There was a mouse caught in a mouse trap in my garage years ago, and the trap didn't kill it. As a matter of fact, the trap wasn't even around its neck. It wasn't a lethal strike. It was pretty much on the mouse's hindquarters. His leg was in the trap, kind of crushed, and it was actually still trying to move the trap. So I took aim, one shot, put it down, and that was the only other thing that I actually managed to kill with this, or actually even really tried to kill with this, because I usually just enjoy doing some target shooting with this. But without further ado, let's take some close-ups of this and we'll get some specifications on this. As you can see, it says Daisy Model 95 BB gun, Rogers, Arkansas, USA. And you may also notice that there are quite a few little dings and dents in this. There's also a fine layer of dust on here. I don't use this very often, but I do take it out every once in a while, try to clean it up, try to make sure that no rust or anything is overtaking it. And the one thing about this, you can hear the BBs rolling around in, I guess, what would be considered the tube magazine, which this entire structure here is the tube magazine. It goes all the way back to, I guess, right around, I'm not sure if it goes all the way down. I think that the actual tube stops right about here, so you probably have about 12 to maybe 15 inches of tube space. That's about maybe 1 inch diameter, and this holds 700 BBs. Now, I've never actually filled it up to capacity. And here's a little oil port. You can just take a drop of oil. Usually I used to use just the 3-in-1 machine oil. Put a drop or two down in there. And that kept it pretty much lubricated. It has an adjustable rear sight. So you can adjust it for, let's see if I can get a nice one. You can adjust it for elevation. And there's a slight bit of rust on that, just surface rust, nothing structural, so it's in good shape. and you can see where some of the finish has worn off over time. This is a single stroke cocking, so you just pull the lever down and pull it on over. I'll demonstrate. And lock it back, and now this is ready to fire. As you can hear, it still works. Taking a closer look at the buttstock, now you can see some deterioration there from wear and tear over the years. The varnish with the finish is wearing off, but this is still readable. 1. Handle safely. 2. Load. 3. Cock. 4. Feed BB. 5. Aim at safe target. And I guess a safe target is not a cardinal. 6. Fire. 7. Store unloaded. See manual for details. Free copy. Write Daisy, Rogers, Arkansas 72756. And you can just hear the BBs rattling around back and forth in there. And let's take a closer look at the seal there. Quality products, Daisy, since 1886. If you've ever read the history of Daisy, I think you'd find it very interesting. They actually started off as a windmill company in Michigan. And my understanding is that they used to make steel windmills. And as part of their sales strategy, they would give away the early air rifles, kind of like a premium or I guess a bonus, kind of like a prize or something like that. And they were so successful, they were so coveted, that the windmill portion actually ceased, and they just started producing the air rifles. And the rest, as they say, is history. So I found that very interesting history. But in any case, this is my Daisy Model 95. And I've had great fun over the years shooting this. And I believe, as you heard, it is still functional, still has good zip to it, and is still a blast, or at least a hoot to shoot. There's not much blast with this, just a muffled poof. This is a spring-powered air rifle. Now, as far as statistics is concerned, this is 35 inches long and weighs 2 pounds and 10 ounces. It was actually manufactured from 1962 to 1999, and there are 5 models that were made during that time period. You had the 95, the 95A, the Timberwolf, the Pony Express, and the Gold Rush. I remember this being sold as wood stock because it does have a wooden stock. And that's one of the reasons why I purchased this particular one, or at least asked my dad for this particular one, because it did have a wooden stock. There was another one, I'm not sure if it was the Red Ryder that was out at the time, which Red Ryder's that's a long-term one. It's probably been in existence before the Model 95. But in any case, there was another one that had a plastic stock and a plastic fore end, which this is plastic, the fore end here. And so I opted for the wooden one. Now, I think some of the later, well, don't quote me about whether it's later or not, but some of what are supposedly Model 95s have a raised cheek piece on the stock, but I don't believe that those are actually Model 95s. I think that they might be misidentified. Some say they're Model 96, but I'm not an expert on these. And real hard, fast information on this particular model is not readily available. I guess I haven't really dug deep enough for it just yet, so I can't even tell you exactly how many feet per second this thing will fire at. But in any regard, this is my Model 95. I learned to shoot with this pretty much probably right before I learned to shoot with a 22. As I said, the time frame's a little foggy. I may have actually learned on the 22 because my grandmother was the one who actually taught me how to shoot. So I may actually have learned on the 22 before I actually got a BB gun. But I think all kids want a BB gun, especially when your dad ain't gonna let you get a 22 in the city. Okay, so that wasn't gonna happen. And even this wasn't purchased in the city. This was purchased down south. It's kind of ironic too, just to digress, because my dad was in the military. He was actually a marksman class shooter, and he really didn't want me to learn how to shoot a gun, or he didn't particularly care about it. But grandmom overruled him, and the rest is history. All right, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.